Welcome back once again to the floor of South by Southwest, the Gaming Expo here in Austin, Texas. Right now, the clock has struck midnight for Cloud9. They trail this series 2-1. It's a best of 5 EG, just one win away from securing the title of Grand Finals champions here at our Monster Invitational presented by Logitech. As we can see, the draft already underway for this fourth game. Visage, the first pick from Cloud9. It's going to be another first pick Marana. This time, though, it's going to be EG snagging it up and wasting no time securing that Morphling for Arteezy.
Yeah, we actually have not gotten the chance to see Cloud9 get a Visage yet. I don't think in this tournament, because I have not seen AUI play, and that's one of his favorite heroes for a very, very long time. So I'm really, really excited to see them playing that hero, and I'm wondering what hero they're going to pick next, if it's going to be either an Invoker coming out or maybe some other, I don't know, it could be a lot of different heroes, to be honest with you, if they want to reveal their supports or if they want to start revealing some of their lanes. But now they know that Evil Geniuses does have two of their heroes picked already, so it could either be a support Marana, it could be farming Marana, it could be an aggressive Marana, but they are for sure going to know that this Morphling is going to be played by Arteezy.
Yep, and most likely going mid. No guarantee, though. We have seen some swapping in the lanes from time to time, but Arteezy, I mean, has been such a big part of every game that EG has played in so far on the tournament floor. We saw him completely taken out of the game by Cloud9 the first time these two teams met yesterday, but since then he has been more or less on fire. Even in the games that Evil Geniuses has lost, he's had a big impact and a big influence. So, waiting on that second pickup from Cloud9, we see EG with their ban face taking away Pylai Dai's IO, and after his performance on that hero in Game 2, yeah, I think I can understand why. Cloud9, though, not going to deviate too much from the blueprint. They're going to grab Bat Rider once again for Demon.
And for some reason, I just keep forgetting about this Bat Rider, just because he's just picked every game. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, what's this hero? But yeah, no surprise out of this. We do see Cloud9 also banning out the Nyx now, so they don't want to see Universe playing that Nyx, because of course he plays it very, very strong, and we have seen him line up some very strong impales, landing 2 or 3 heroes for the most part on all of them. And yeah, we do also see them banning out this Shadow Fiend in the first phase, so they didn't want to have to deal with this Radiant Shadow Fiend, and instead EG just grabs, like you said before, the Morphling in the bottom right off the bat.
No reason not to either. I mean, at this point, you know, you have to consider that Marana pick. It's not just a good pick in and of itself. I mean, Marana's an amazing hero. But Cloud9 obviously really likes that hero on Sing Sing. They've been running it all weekend. So if you can take it, not only do you get a great hero for yourself, but you're going to take something from Cloud9 you know they covet. In and of itself, that has its own inherent value. Taking a look at Cloud9 as they opened up with the Visage and the Bat Rider. Demon has been playing for the most part well on the bat. He was completely negated in the second half of our third game, though, by the great Scythe of Vice work, both from Fear and from Arteezy.
Yeah, it was just because of the fact how much rotations EG did and how well the rotations actually ended up working for them. Fear just moved out of that top lane just about as he hit either level 7 or just after he hit level 6, and he just moved around and left his Visage to just get as much farm as possible, and then Arteezy went to the jungle right away as well, just being as greedy as possible, splitting up experience all over the place, and PPD goes mid, finds the levels he needs for this Fiend's Grip, and they just did a great job at disrupting the Earthshaker from pulling those Ancients and just really not letting them take away the lane. Didn't let Cloud9 just take advantage of these lanes.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And, you know, just basically across the board, they just look to be in better shape throughout most phases of that game. And Cloud9 taking out the Crystal Maiden now, banning that away from PPD. We have seen him favor that. We saw PPD play a very good Bane and benefited so much. And you and I were talking about it last game as well. He has kind of been broke throughout most of this tournament. But with the help of that track gold coming off of Fear's #1 position bounty hunter, there it is. I was going to say the Bane did very, very well last time for EG. Had up the mobility items, so on and so forth. And they're going to go right back to it again with that Bane.
Yeah, and PPD hasn't really been having the best performance this tournament. He's been having some slow starts, been having some rough games, catching a couple arrows yesterday, unfortunately, and EG ended up losing a couple of the games, maybe because of the arrows, but not entirely his fault. But now, today, he's bringing out everything he's got. He's playing very, very well. His Bane last game was really damn good. He got that, even on the top lane, once he got that Invis Rune, once he got his Blink Dagger, once he got all these mobility items, he started finding picks all over the place and properly using the Fiend's Grip, as well as using Enfeeble all over the place, like we saw on Eternal Envy's Luna that first game.
Cloud9 going to respond with a Rubik pickup. Rubik picked in the face of a Bane always makes sense. Fiend's Grip, of all the ultimates in the game, arguably Bane's Fiend's Grip might be the easiest to get reliably. And it's certainly amazing to be able to turn around, especially against the hero like a Morphling. So Cloud9 filling out their supporting cast first. So still probably looking for a mid and certainly looking for a hero for Eternal Envy. There is no Luna ban out as of right now. That's an option available to them if they want to go that direction. But based on the way last game went, I'd be a little surprised if we saw them go back to the Drow Ranger well.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing that hero for quite a while, and I hope not, because he's just not even really that fun to watch. He doesn't really do anything. It's like, oh, and he shoots a frost arrow. It's just not really a fun hero at all. And it just, we saw how hard it can get punished, and that hero just needs so much in order to just really be a damage-dealing force on the battlefield.
Gonna see the puck picked up in 4th position now for Evil Geniuses. Most likely that's going to be played in the offlane, though they could very well switch things up. And, you know, it's something that you have to kind of talk about a little bit. And we talked about it last game as well. Fear is playing a little bit injured today, has some very, very sore forearms, has been having issues, and if you've been watching the camera, has been icing it in between games. We're now moving ahead. This is game number 4. This is his 6th game of the day. And earlier in their first series, when they took on TL to have the chance to get here, he said, as of right now, the status of his health was he could play 4 games comfortably. Much past that, it got painful. So definitely into that. And wow, I guess we just don't know what we're talking about, huh?
Oh man, I'm not too happy right now. But no, Drow Ranger's not the strongest hero, but he paired with Visage, it does end up making up for the fact that Drow ends up being weak. But if that Visage gets farmed, we see how much that True Shot aura really starts to affect those familiars, because even if the familiars drop down to 0 of that 10 damage, which they do get down to, they get that plus whatever damage from the agility from the Drow Ranger, and they can still just constantly be dealing out so much damage. And we do see Cloud9 having 4 ranged heroes up at this point already. So.
Ban out on the Doom to finish things off for Evil Geniuses. Obviously a hero that works extremely well against pretty much every hero, but in particular against the Morphling and against the Puck. Can completely take them out of any fight, so not giving Cloud9 the option to pick that up. And we'll see what Cloud9 wants to take away. Ostensibly, one would imagine, well, it's so hard to call. I mean, you've got 3 heroes that can reliably mid and are fairly commonly run in mid. The Mirana, the Morphling by Arteezy, at least for him, and then, of course, the Puck. Which of these heroes are going to wind up in the offlane? You know, they could end up throwing us a bit of a curveball here. There is aggressive potential. A Mirana and a Bane with Nightmare to set up for Sacred Arrow. They want to pick another support here and decide to aggressively tri-lane into the face of Cloud9. That wouldn't shock me at all.
Or maybe just, of course, just play some dual lanes. They could just do that. Bane Potom is a very, very strong dual lane. Puck plus whatever is a very strong dual lane as well. We've seen a lot of people, actually seen a few people do this Puck Treant, and Puck Treant is very, very strong because those 2 heroes together are just so lethal. And of course, Tree overall on the map is just obnoxious as hell to deal with. But of course, also trying to point out another thing that does make Drow Ranger a little bit better in this game is that this silence on these 4 heroes that Evil Geniuses have is actually quite powerful and quite lethal. So if he can land a couple silences and be in a good position and not get picked off too much, this Drow can actually be pretty damn good. And we do see the Slardar being picked up by EG, so it looks like it's going to be a support bottom coming out of them.
Yeah, and I really like that, actually, and it makes a ton of sense. And, you know, they could end up just deciding to run defensive. Like you said, they could even do, well, I mean, like, just think about how well it has the potential to work out. And it comes down to Cloud9 if they're able to dodge or if they want to dodge or whatever. If you're looking at a tri-lane with Drow Ranger, Rubik, and Visage, granted, we did see the Drow Ranger go mid before. We don't really know what to expect with this last pick. But Slardar, Bane, and Mirana is an unbelievably lethal tri-lane and something that's so hard to deal with. You've got such good stuns. You've got Nightmare to lead off, then the Crush, which of course has AoE outside of being great. Nope, they're actually going to be running Sing Sing on the Templar Assassin with Drow Ranger farming, and it will be Fear on the Slardar. What do you think? Aggressive tri-lane?
Coming out of which team? You think
coming out of EG.
Or EG? I don't really know if we're going to be seeing aggressive tri-lane. Yes, they do have 2 ranged heroes, but Bane doesn't really qualify too much of as a ranged hero. Although the Sleep and the Arrow is quite a lethal combo, Cloud9 does have a very, very decent tri-lane, and also they are very good at tri-laning. The way that their 2 supports synergize is just excellent. So I don't know if we'll be seeing them take the risk on that. I think they're just going to go for the safe lane, get farm on these people, and yeah, we see Zai playing the bottom too. So this is going to be really enjoyable to watch.
Yep. And keeping it safe was really hoping with a game like this that has so much on the line. I love aggressive tri-lanes in big games like this, but EG taking the wise route and instead just going to make sure Fear gets a good start. And, you and I talked extensively about Slarter just personally. The first day we were here during setup and all that. Both of us feel like the hero is still pretty underrated. I feel like, he's just so good at so many things. And the way you've put it is basically for a lot of consecutive patches, it's been nothing but buffs. And it's finally reached that point where we're beginning to see him really come into his own and really prove himself as an unbelievably high-value hero. Yeah,
that amplified damage, originally, I remember, it's been a long time, but it was 5 armor reduction. Then it got buffed to 8 armor reduction, and now at level 1, it's 10 armor reduction. So once you hit that level 6 on Slarter, you are going to be able to dish out so much physical damage just from that, as well as Crush being physical as well. And then, of course, his Bash got buffed as well, as I mentioned the other day, as well as Sprint costing 0 mana and everything like this, and the Blink Dagger buff, of course. So right now we see the Slarter actually pick up an early Magic Stick and a Stout Shield, so we might be seeing them leave him alone for the most part in this bottom lane and having him 1v1ing versus a Bat Rider after they maybe try to net 1 kill off on him.
Horn blows, and game number 4 underway here at the Monster Energy Invitational at South by Southwest, presented by Logitech. If EG can take a win here, they'll be walking home with first place, $10,000, as well as one of the sweetest esports trophies I've ever seen, the Monster Energy Trophy we have waiting for our winners. And of course, C9, though, having other plans in mind. They want to force this series to its absolute distance, but before we find out if that's going to happen, looks like we're going to have a brief disconnect on Demon, but hopefully no big issue. We'll be back underway in just a moment. All right. The bromance comes to an end as C9 now back to full staff. The Bad Rider reconnected, Demon settling in, and we should be set to resume. Yep, needs to fix his hotkeys, of course. Isn't that just a pain? But again, what could be a decisive game 4 if EG can slam the door shut. Cloud9, though, wants to give us an exciting, full-fledged final going all the way to 5 if they can pull the win here out of game 4. Quantic Brittany.
Quantic Brittany. I like that. I'm really looking forward to watching this mid matchup, seeing what goes on, because I've never really actually seen TI versus Morphling. I think I saw it maybe once at TI2, but not too often. And we do see the game on pausing now. We are going to get underway with our game 4 and potentially our last game of this tournament.
Here we go. Lane's taking shape here in mid. Invis room with Pylite Dive. They're going to go ahead and go on him. There's the telekinesis. Sing Sing doing good damage. Arteezy morphing strength, and yep, we'll be able to make it away. So forced way out of lane, doesn't have a single point in experience as of yet. So already the pressure being applied by C9.
Yeah, and Morphling's going to miss out. He might actually miss out on some of these creeps right now, but Pylite Die is just going to stay in this lane and do what they did the last time. They do this dual lane and not let this Morphling really get too much out of any of this.
Yeah, but we can see, going to struggle. I mean, he's hanging right now. Yeah, he's actually going to get some CS here, so shouldn't be the end of the world. Down at bottom, we can see Demon. This is just so Demon. Just hanging out in the woods, soaking experience. You know what? Not very safe. Haven't placed a skill point yet. I'm just going to hide in the trees and hope you don't notice me.
Yep, he's just chilling, just relaxing. And we are seeing Pylite Die rotate back toward this top lane, so it's not going to be this forever dual lane that we saw the last time when they did this versus Morphling middle. But the problem I see here is that Universe is going to be getting a lot in this off lane. They don't really have anything to force him out until this Rubik is, of course, going to start rotating up there. But he is able to get a lot of experience up there if the lane pushes into his favor. But now C9 is correcting this and not allowing him to get anything out of this lane.
Universe is so very good at this off-lane puck, though, and it's a continual effort thing. You can shove him out once, even zone him out for a minute or two, but it doesn't end there. You have to keep that up, or he will find farm. Like, he just flat out will find a way to harass you. He'll find a way to make your support's life miserable, and he'll find a way to get where he wants to be on his way to a quick blink deck. And we can see Demon already doing a good job down here in bottom. He is going to be nightmared using that Firefly to steal these creeps from the jungle, but yep. Very well done by him. He's already level 3.5 and already has 9 CS under his belt.
Yeah, and he finds himself a nice haste turn, so maybe we'll see him just go... No, he's just going to go and try to get as much experience as he can in this lane before he tries to venture into the jungle. And not only that, I wanted to point out that this Drow in the short lane is actually the way, I feel like this only way the hero that can be played. I really do not like when people are doing this mid-lane Drow, because it just... The hero just is so weak. He needs so much, as I've said a million times now. And we see Pylite Die actually pick off the courier behind the tower in mid lane. Very well played by Pylite Die. Great rotation by him.
And did it have anything on it? Didn't have a chance.
It did have the bottle.
Yep, I thought
now
it did.
Arteezy is forced to go back, and now he's going to have a very tough time, especially after that horrible start that he had with the lift and missing almost a full creep wave. SingSing's just going to pull so far ahead in this mid lane now, and it's going to be tough for Arteezy to recover versus a TA who's almost going to be level 5. And this Morphling lost his bottle, and he's only level 3 with 6 CS now.
6 CS, like you said, struggling quite a bit. He's got basically as much as the support Mirana does at this stage. Fear, in the meantime, sitting near the top of the CS board. He's at 17, comparing TA and Drow, both sitting at 19. Want to watch and see how Fear decides to build this. If it's going to be a straight-out Blink rush, which I think, you and I talking about it a lot, and even seeing it in action, I think that's really the way to build a Slardr. I don't like Vanguard first.
I think Fear agrees with us, too, from what I've seen, the way he's played this Slardr. He usually gets his boots up, and then he rushes out this Blink as quick as possible. We see some action in mid lane. Morphling might be able to go down, but no, he's still saving his waveform, so not too much risk there. But the great thing about what C9 is doing is they're not really giving Universe much space to get anything. He is sitting at 0 CS. He's level 3, but this Batrider doesn't have to worry about going to the offlane. He can just go into the jungle and recover and pick up as many levels as possible. And he's already sitting on 1,400 gold on this Batrider because he has 20 CS from a big camp stack that he did, plus the gold from the courier that was slain.
Very, very nice early game coming out of Cloud9. And like you said, everything in this phase is really just going their way. They got the courier, the fact that Demon's doing so well. They're doing a very effective job, probably the best anyone has done in this tournament of zoning Arteezy off a farm, making his life a little more difficult, sitting at half the CS of the off-lane Batrider right now, only 10 for him. And, if you're in EG shoes, like, obviously this isn't going the way you want it. How do you begin to break this down and try to make something happen?
It looks like Fear's trying to go for a dive on Demon, but yeah, Demon just uses the Firefly. Now we see Pilot Die actually rotating toward bottom lane too. But EG right now, they have to find a way to just secure some farm for Arteezy. It looks like the puck might try to take maybe this mid lane, but I don't see who can really stand up versus this TA at this point. He's almost level 6. He's got boots, he's got his bottle, and he's going to have another item. We do see them get a sleep up on Demon, but Pilot Die doing a great unsleep, and they don't have to worry about that arrow catching him after the Nightmare.
Yep, arrow ended up splitting the wickets a bit, and they got a little damage under the tower. Not a ton, though, getting it down maybe 1/6 of the way, give or take, and all this time. Eternal Envy on this Drow Ranger, continuing to just farm away in the safe lane, sitting at 28 CS. But yeah, I agree with you completely about SingSing. The fact that he is the X factor right now. He's almost level 6. He's been left pretty much uninhibited. He's right there with Fear in terms of CS. And we'll see. One, I want to see how he decides to build this out. He is going to be going with the Treads build, so if he's going to get a Blink Dagger, that should be coming fairly soon, so long as he's not interrupted any more than he has been. But
yeah, there's nobody in the mid lane. No one can stand up versus a TA who has this lead. Nobody at all on the EG lineup. And Arteezy's just trying to find any farm at all. So he's just doing some jungle camps, which is very, very tough for him at this point because he's not very high level, but he is about to find his level 6. So he's at least finding something on the map instead of just sitting there being like, what do I do now?
And taking a look at the courier, it actually didn't have a bottle on it. Only had a Bassi for an Aquila.
Oh, he actually did go for the Bassi early, and he did get a salve out, so he wasn't even getting his bottle yet. Wow, that was... Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I just happened to notice it too. But
yeah.
Anyway, 6 minutes in, on the money. Treads are done for this TA, and as you know, and we talk about it all the time when you see a TA. There are just certain heroes, especially in this mid-roll. You can go toe-to-toe with them a little bit early on, especially if you get a little help from roaming. Oh, SingSing just bottled a DD, so this could be devastating if he's able to unbottle it at the right time. But TA is just one of those heroes. If she gets ahead, or just by virtue of time and level gain, she just becomes such a pain to deal with. Now, okay, Fear just bought a Midas on this Slardr. I got to admit, I'm a little skeptical of this.
I think it's mostly just a recovery minus at this point, just because of how bad this early game is just going. Even though there's no kills on the board, C9 is leading by about 2,500 gold and almost getting to 2,000 experience at this point already, just because of how tough it is for Arteezy to really find anything in this mid lane. And SingSing is really going to be able to... He should be able to snowball off of this pretty effectively, and we do see the Drow Ranger also going for this Midas. So Fear doesn't want to get underfarmed at all in this game. He wants to just be able to farm, not get this Blink Dagger that early, but just be able to get a bit of farm in. We do see an extremely early Blink coming for Demon. 7 minutes in the game. He doesn't have a kill or anything, but this courier kill as well of him getting a couple stacks up in the jungle and getting some experience in last hits bottom, just really benefiting him. And this is one of the earliest Blinks I think we've actually seen in any professional games.
Yep, Demon very quickly straight to brown boots and Blink. And looking to hook up with SingSing very soon, I would imagine. SingSing still has that double damage room as well. And up atop, we can see Universe taking some damage, AUI, and First Blood tallied by AUI with the help of Eternal Envy that time around. And things are just, I mean, this is just going horrendously for EG at this point. I mean, and, you know, it just, the catch-up Midas on the Slarter, totally understand it. But, you know, he's just not a hero who usually just wants to sit and farm a long time. I mean, he's a hero who is much better served to just go and fight. It's tough to do when you fall behind like this, but still, I worry how this is going to end up working out, especially with the Morphling still struggling here in mid, only 28 CS for him.
Yeah, for sure. Slarter is more of one of those, as you said before, carry preventer, or he's space creator. So he's going to want to just be able to move around the map, but he's still going to get a blink on a relatively good timing even after this Midas, because he is, of course, free farming in this bottom lane. But Piledai is doing a good job of just staying down there, soaking up some experience while he can, while Demon just gets as much as he can in the jungle. And Demon, yeah, he does have this blink dagger, and he does have a smoke coming out to him. So we're going to be seeing a gank coming at him very, very soon. And we see PPD rotating toward the mid lane, putting down a sentry just in case they have a lane ward there and to take out any of the traps there, so RTZ can have a better time. And
wow.
We see a great kill coming out on the Rubik. Yeah, Piledai was playing a little bit too far up. He's trying to get as much experience as possible, trying to spread the experience all over the map. But being that far in a Rubik versus a Slardar with Sprint, it's just a little bit crazy.
And we could see rotation already from Demon and Eternal Envy. And this is a nice change of pace from what we saw Envy try to do with the Drow Ranger pick last game. Instead, he usually tried the dodge fights. Now he's a part of the smoke gank and moving to hook up now with Sing Sing. You know, I like this out of it. I feel like this is a more effective way to play the Drow, even if you do still get the Midas. Obviously, farming going to be your #1 priority when you can. They're actually going to go right into the Roche pit. So using that bonus damage coming out from marksmanship with Sing Sing, having that armor reduction from Meld, they're going to try to sneak this in, and it looks like no one is the wiser. This is a big, big win for C9. Hang on, and this is about to get bigger as Universe lassoed out of top lane and killed off because of it. So basically every corner of the map is going the way of C9 right now.
Yeah, and even though Envy left that top lane, he left it for AY to get some farm, and EG actually knows that this Roshan's going on, and they do get... Oh, they just missed the kill on Envy, and Zai tries to leap up, and he does finish him off. Very well played. And they get Sing Sing as well. And now they might actually be able to take this Roshan, but there's 2 buyouts out. So they're going to have to either get this Roshan or just get the hell out of there as fast as possible. This could be a really, really dangerous fight for EG right now.
Yep, and hanging around Roshan, they want to try to bring it down. Piledai is right there. There's going to be the Gust. Can they bring it down fast enough? Zai's eating so much damage. And here we go. Demon's right there, and the Aegis was actually picked up by the Bad Rider. So Demon making the big play as EG is sent to scurry away. They lost Morphling and the Mirana in that engagement, and EG looked like they were in good position, were able to prevent it to lead off. Fear's actually here now with the amplified damage and PPD, so they're at least going to get some kill out of it. But still, the Aegis picked up by Demon there. Well played by Jimmy.
Yeah, and now Fear actually is going to have his Blink Dagger up on a very good timing. He didn't end up dying in that engagement either, so pretty damn good, even though Bat Rider did end up getting the last hit on the Roshan and the Aegis, so Demon's going to be pretty damn rich this game, for sure. And we're going to take a look at the gold graph right now. It's going about 4,000 in lead for C9 at this point in the game, which is very early for a 4,000 gold lead. And about 3,000 experience lead going for them as well. So now we just see Aoi just going to be farming, just full-out farming up in this top lane. And he's got a medallion and another 1,200 gold in the bank. And I think this is what they're going to be planning on doing. They don't think that they don't agree with how this Drow just becomes a super late game carry. They're just going to get him as many levels as possible, max his aura up, get marksmanship as high as level as possible, and have Aoi basically be the carry that they're going to be using with Sing Sing.
I think that makes so much sense. And especially whenever you look at the way this is going to play out. You've got Slarter who, especially when he gets behind, he's traditionally more of an anti-carry, more of a mid-game go-fight hero. Doesn't scale all that well, certainly isn't a hero that you just want farming in the face of other hard carries. But on the side of C9, neither Drow nor the TA really scale all that amazingly into the late game either, unless they just get 3, 4, 5 levels ahead and just find an entire big item ahead of their opposition. On the side of EG, you do have RTZ on the Morphling, and let's be honest, when it comes to ultra late game, Morphling is an absolute monster. So when it comes, I mean, we're still very early to discussing these kind of phases of the game, but it's easy to see why they wouldn't give him that much attention.
But great movement by Fear, getting a double crush on these two guys and focusing Aoi, but he doesn't really deal too much damage just yet.
Oh, they do manage to track him down with that flame break.
And now Fear's in some deep trouble as well. He was focusing this Visage, but is he going to get brought down?
Up Demon, trying to stick on him, and Universe right there behind him, and he's going to jump back on Demon. Demon caught out with the crush, And the silence is there as well. No, they end up trading it away. So they do get the Aegis, but it cost them fear. Don't think that was the trade they had in mind. In the meantime, though, Pylai Dai with the split push. Rubik has been soaking a lot of experience and doing his job down in this bottom lane.
And they also found a much-needed kill. PPD hit his level 6, and he got a great Fiend's Grip up on this TA, and they killed him off with the Morphling, and now RTZ actually picks up his Midas at not so bad of a time, basically the same time that he's gotten his Midas every single one of these games, about this 12-minute mark. So he's recovered very, very well after this horrendous laning phase that he did end up having.
This game beginning to feel a little bit closer, and like the graphs aren't indicating it all, but it does feel a little bit closer than it was. But again, this is totally in the driver's seat for Cloud9. They are going to be the ones who are setting the tone, and it's going to be on EG to make the right decisions and not be caught out of position. I feel like Cloud9 is playing an amazing game so far. Demon in particular doing a great job. Already has up a 4-staff to go with that Blink and Brown boots at 13 minutes in.
And he's level 11. So now the lasso isn't that 90-second cooldown, which is not really the best. It's about a minute cooldown, which is so excellent for him. And yeah, AUI also, he's level 9. He's got his point booster up, and he's got another 1,000 gold. So he's already halfway to his eggs with a medallion, and he's probably going to get level 11 at the same time as he gets this Aghanim Scepter. And now we see Sing Sing getting engaged on the middle.
Yep, Blink in from Fear, catches him with a crush and the follow-up. Got some damage off before he was brought down, but that is so important, being able to bring him down and keep him somewhat under control. And Cloud9 really needs to start doing more with him. I feel like Sing Sing was off to such an amazing start, still sitting atop the CS board at 79, but what have we seen him do as the laning phase has begun to break down?
Zai getting gripped down bottom too. Demon just finding picks all over the place, and let's see if he can finish Zai off. Yeah, he's going to get him.
Yep, one last auto attack, and that's a mega kill streak now for Demon. And as you said, he is living up to his namesake, just everywhere on the map, finding them everywhere he looks.
Yeah, and this ward.
Hang on, back on Pilot Eye. Fear engaging on, hits him with the crush, now the amplified damage, and there's a bash for good measure. Eats the flame break in the mouth, but quite happy to take that kill on the Rubik as now the response is coming. Sing Sing shows his face. Doesn't look like
might get killed here in the mid lane, but no, yeah. Surprise Blink Dagger from Eternal Envy caught Universe a bit off guard, and he almost netted a kill off of that one. So unorthodox builds, as always, it's been seen. And Demon sees this giant Ancient Stack and he's got to get picked off with the Fiend's Grip. I said Ancient Stack, sorry. I meant the giant Big Stack. They had a ward aggressively placed inside this jungle, so they did see PPD stacking this. He did get to take all of it, but PPD just netted a huge kill. He gets his Urn, he gets a level 8, and he just killed a level 11 Bat Rider, so he just got so much out of that one. And Demon playing a little bit over-aggressive, but he was like, you know what? I want to take this stack. I don't want them to have this for anybody.
Taking a look at the gold graph, we can see EG has managed to stop the bleeding. Haven't completely got it going in their direction, but just making sure that it didn't get any more out of hand than it has. And we can see, yeah, both the gold and the experience, a slight upturn as of right now, and they're going to want to keep that moving upwards. But again, Cloud9 in this lineup, so gank-oriented, and so much damage they can pour out just in such a short amount of time. EG just has to play so very tight. They have to make sure their movement's on point. Vision needs to be up. They can't get caught out or they will be punished, and this could end up getting out of hand at any given moment. Taking a look at AUI, as you mentioned, he's a part of that. Already halfway to that Ags, as you had mentioned. Everything for C9 is just right on the cusp of going their way. EG right now just trying to ride out the storm.
Yeah, and Universe is having quite a rough time. He's got brown boots and almost no gold, and he's only level 7 up on this puck. So he's going to have to recover from getting from a big team fight after the Slaughter sets up with his nice crush and just having some nice follow-up with his coil and with all of his other spells.
And C9 ready to make something happen as they smoke and are moving now along the ridge line near the Radiant side agents. PPD. Likely target, he and Fear both, and oh, they tried to smoke and look what happened. Oh, he missed with the gust because of the blink, so they end up wasting a smoke of their own, but they did manage to keep C9 from finding a smoke kill of their own, so not the worst trade in history for EG.
Yeah, great reaction timing there by Fear. He saw his smoke break and he's like, oh god, he just doesn't want to get lassoed, so he blinks away instantly, and just absolutely fantastic reaction by him. Yeah, we did see the Pada multi actually used before, and that's why Demon actually got caught off doing that big camp. So very well played by both Zai and PPD. Great teamwork coming out of these two guys.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
17 minutes in. And this game, still anyone's game, though Cloud9 certainly in the driver's seat. 5,000 gold their advantage right now.
And it looks like, oh, wow, yeah, it looks like Arteezy's gonna go for either a rushed Ethereal Blade or just maybe just a Ghost Scepter for now, just so he doesn't get blown up by all this massive physical DPS that they have from this TA Visage and Drow.
And, that's really, again, it comes down to just how these teams are going to stack up as the game progresses, all things being equal. And I feel like EG is going to feel somewhat more comfortable than Cloud9 will in trying to take this super late. Doesn't mean they certainly want to let Cloud9 have their way of the run of the entire map in the meantime. But if push comes to shove, they're going to be feeling kind of confident in relying on Arteezy's late game Morphling. For now, though, looks like they want to make something happen on their own here still in the early and mid-game phases, using Moonlight Shadow, looking for something. And Fear blinks up and right into a whole team. He decides to get out of dodge, and that's the right call to make, as we see Rubik actually does manage to still sprint at least.
Now he's got some nice mobility, but they did force some reaction. AUI poured it out of the top lane, and AUI is the free farmer in this game right now for C9. He's about 600 gold from his Ags, and he does have his level 11, so once he starts bringing himself or his familiars into the team fight, he's going to be doing so much damage. And if he doesn't bring them into a team fight, we're going to be seeing what he loves to do with these familiars, just constantly split pushing the lanes, not really having to worry about anything like this.
Dire's middle tower
we're going to
is
see
under attack.
middle tower being assailed by EG, while the Tier 1 bottom under siege from Cloud9. Lifts up on both sides. We're going to see a bit of a reaction. That's going to be Sing Sing under cover of an Invis rune. Might try to come in and engage here. Has to be very careful about how he does, if he does decide to do so. Pylai Die using sprint to try and get into position. Sing Sing still right there. We're going to have a lasso that manages to catch PPD, and he will be cleaned up because of it. And he actually got grip.
He got the grip, and PPD hasn't used another spell since he got that kill on Demon, so great steal from Pine. A little bit of a mistake by PPD. It's sometimes hard to remember to do that, but you really can't just be giving away a Fiend's Grip for free like that, so a bit of a misplay there. He
What a grab as Fear tried to blink in. Now the coil coming out of Universe to try and buy him some time. They're going to snap it as they try to pursue out, so good plays all around. What great reaction timing coming out of Pylai Die, using that grip to save his own life, most likely. Up atop, we see the Morphling does manage to get away. Sing Sing unable to defend the tower as Arteezy does bring it down. We see a Vanguard has been picked up by Fear in the meantime. Roche going to be responding very soon. That's a relatively short timer.
Yeah, and Sing Sing, although he had such a great start in this mid lane and he still has a ton of money, we look at the net worth chart, he's only number 5 on the net worth chart after that incredible start that he had. These 3 deaths that they've been doing just really hurt him a lot and just slowed down the way his farm was going.
Right now, the difference in the gold graph, and you can look at it and see, yeah, I mean, it's back down towards 7,500, but that is all basically in supports. The big point of hurt for EG right now is the puck, the fact that Universe is so broke. Only 2,700 net worth for him right now. And yeah, basically, EG has 2 of the top 3 farmers, very close. Fear, Arteezy, and then, of course, Eternal Envy. Then there's a bit of a fall off. Then it's 3 in a row coming out from Cloud9. It's the difference of those 3 compared to the other 3 from EG, where all of that gold lead is concentrated. So as of right now, EG is on par or better in terms of their 2 top-tier farmers. They just have to make that work for them now that we're entering the mid-game.
And we can't overlook at all how much damage these birds are going to be doing once this Drow pops his aura. They can really just deal so much damage, especially because this Drow is already level 11. So he gives about 42 damage just from his aura right now. Actually, 39 damage, sorry, correcting myself, to those birds, as well as any ranged unit on the map. So
Zai might get caught out here. Pylai Die going to spawn him, and the Fiend's Grip used immediately. Not going to have a chance to do anything as he will be bursted down.
With honor.
And a nice pickoff, managing to get the Mirana that time around. Looks like EG is moving back into that vicinity, though, and now going to back out. Looks like, yeah, they realize there's probably 5 there. We don't need to take that fight.
Yeah, and that's the problem with giving away Fiend's Grip. You get to use more than two of them, actually. Oh, did he steal it again? No, it was wearing off. Sorry about that. Yeah, he gets to use 2 Fiend's Grips off before it wears away. So Pylai Die just doing a great job of getting that Fiend's Grip, and now they're going to be getting a free Roshan just because of how much minus armor and how much damage they really dish out with this medallion as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Radiant's bottom tower
free
has
Aegis.
fallen.
And let's see what Cloud9 can do with it. This is the span of this next Aegis really might be enough for them to put this game out of reach for EG if they can execute. Fear's going to walk right on top of Sing Sing, going to be telekinesis. There's the immediate Moonlight Shadow, but it doesn't matter. That's a big kill, and I'm a little surprised Fear was actually there. I mean, you know they just took Roshan. You have no idea where they're going, but knowing C9's tendencies, they do like to get aggressive right off of an Aegis like that, and they certainly did, and just hanging out way too close to unfriendly territory.
Yeah, and AUI doing exactly what I said he was probably going to be doing with these birds. Instead of just split pushing, he's just getting kills with Demon on the other side of the map with his birds alone with Demon. So very well played by both of these players, and there's just kills happening all over the place. I'm not really too sure how Pylai Die just got a solo kill on Universe. He must have been farming the cap low, and he did steal the Waning Rift and got the kill on him. So now Universe is a little bit further away from his blink, and he was very close to it right before that death. So unfortunate time for that death.
Said just moments ago, the span of this Aegis might be enough time for Cloud9 to put this game out of reach, and they may be just about there. They're coming up on 5-digit gold lead at 22 minutes in. You're very near that 500 gold a minute lead they have generated throughout the first 22 minutes of this game. And EG, I mean, it's so tough. I mean, they've got the Morphling to rely on. Mirana, of course, is a bit of an X factor in and of herself because of her skill set, but the Slardar is struggling mightily. That Midas has not really paid off all that much. We've seen a couple of good plays from Fear, but still yet, you just can't have a Slardar that falls behind like this. He's level 13. He is behind the Bat Rider, though, same level as Sing Sing and the Drow. Usually you want him feeling a little bit more potent in these fights. As of right now, he's really having a hard time finding any opening to capitalize.
Look how much damage this tower top takes just from the 3 Visage Birds with the Drow Aura. It just starts to get hit so hard, and once this Visage hits level 16, he is a carry on his own. He already basically is, but 16, those birds start hitting it so immeasurably strong. And we do see TA pick up a Desolator as well now. So Sing Sing recovered, even though he had a great start and then he got picked up a few times, he's recovered after that. And now he's very farmed. He has a DD in his bottle and a Desolator. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some split push coming out of C9 right now. 2 lanes just get taken out with Bat Rider sitting behind the TA going for a kill like this.
Arteezy finishes his F-Blade, and he better get to work carving this map up with that shotgun.
Yeah, and I'm not really the biggest fan of rushing F-Blade. It's kind of like a desperation move. They have so much physical damage on this team that he's kind of forced in order to go into the Ghost Scepter, and he didn't really want to go into this Linken's afterwards. And his farm, although he does have 10,000 net worth, doesn't look so hot. He has Treads, Ethereal Blade, and just a Midas. So they're going to have a pretty hard time fighting on EG until this Puck finds his Blink Dagger, which he is about to find.
And Deso on Sing Sing, not only going to help them in terms of pure damage, but I mean, I love Desolator. If you get far enough ahead on a Templar Assassin, it just gives you so much. And he's even got a DD, and I mean, this is just getting very ugly. Now we're going to see Fear lassoed and drug up to the ward spot, and he's going to be helped out by Moonlight Shadow, but he can't get his Blink Dagger off cooldown. They know where he is, and now the whole team is converging on him as he burns to death amidst all of this. There's a Sentry Ward down, and Fear cleaned up once again. Sing Sing will catch an arrow in the face from Mirana, but this game seems to be reaching its conclusion very, very soon, as they honestly can't even move out from their tier 3s without just being picked off one by one.
Yeah, and this Drow actually is working for them in the position that they did it. They didn't do it as a carry back Drow. They just are getting him to find some levels, and now he's getting a lot of money, so it's going to end up working because he's going to be able to transition very well once he starts picking up more and more items on this Drow Ranger as well.
No buyback for Slardar. And C9 capitalizing on that for now. Arrow does catch Demon at the back of the fight. Now they're going to come back out and perhaps try to fight. We're going to see PPD using the Brain Sap. Little burst damage, just trying to buy time.
On something nice that I wanted to just quick point out is that Rubik stole Morph, and he morphed all the strength, and now he stole Adaptive Strike. So that's a 3-second stun as well on that Rubik.
Very nice. That is really nice, actually. That's brilliant. Arteezy now caught up front, eating a lot of damage. Will wait for him through. Universe is there, but Telekinesis down. He's going to be forced to jaunt away. Arteezy trying to run away, or trying to get involved in the fight. There's Demon, though, using that lasso. Fear back up. Uses the crush, catches Pylai Die. Arteezy in bad shape, but still able to limp back home to base. Zai is going to work on the Bad Rider. But yeah, for now, the buyback out on Arteezy, and we're going to see the Aegis actually cleaned up by EG. Coming back up off that's going to be Sing Sing. Gets enfeebled right off the bat. Here comes Arteezy chasing him right down mid. There's an arrow that will connect on PPD. Now the blink and the crush from Fear. Can they follow it up? Down goes the refraction. Fear taking a lot of damage. Fear's right there with him though. Will use the sprint, and they do manage to track him down once again. So EG lost tier 3 and did end up losing one of their racks. In fact, lost the melee racks. However, they did punish C9 for overstaying their welcome. Will get a tier 1 and did manage to clean up the Aegis as well.
Yeah, but it's just not really enough for them. They did get 3 kills out of it, but in the meantime, during all this, Drow has just been basically, he's like a support at this point. He does have this Mask of Madness up, so he's dealing with a good amount of damage if he doesn't get focused. And they really aren't, they don't want to focus this Drow. They have such other important targets to deal with. And now, yeah, Envy realizes this, and he's like, you know what? I can just sit in the back, and if they're not going to be focusing me, I'm just going to go Maelstrom. And yeah, looking at this net worth chart, AUI, number 2 on the net worth. And he's just going to be a straight-up carry. He has an ulti orb, and it's either going to be a Linken's or just going straight for a Hex, and that's probably what it's going to be. And then it's going to be just really, really dangerous for EG because they don't have their BKBs, and they're not even close to them. Fear does have his Ogre Axe, but he was forced to expend a buyout there and lost a lot of gold out of that.
EG in some trouble here in game number 4. Cloud9 fighting for their lives here in this tournament, trying to force a game 5 and fighting very, very well. They lead 15-11 in terms of pure kills, but the gold graph, yeah, it's in excess of that 500 gold per minute lead mark that they've generated so far, well into 5-digit territory, 15,000 as a matter of fact, and the experience not far off of that as well. So, putting you in the captain's share here, Fogged. What's the plan if you're EG?
They just have to get farm up on Morphling. They have to just split push and not get picked off at all. But it's so difficult with the lineup that C9 has. This Batrider has so much farm. He got travels ridiculously early. He had his Blink 4 stuff before the 12-minute mark, and I think he finished his bots at around 15. And he's going to have a refreshers dangerously soon, and he's going to be 16. So his lasso is super low cooldown. We do see AUI getting engaged on bottom.
Yep, they're going to try to catch him out and do manage to land the coil. Here comes Pile Die though. Got telekinesis off PPD. Going to nightmare himself to try and destroy this. There's the crush from Fear, but unfortunately unable to engage off of that. We're going to see PPD eat a little bit more damage on its way out, and everyone from EG just on the way out. Drow Ranger gets the kill on Mirana, and we're going to see Sing Sing there to clean up Fear. And they're very much, he was trying to clean up Fear at the very least, very much on the run. And Fear caught out as Pile Die had stolen the crush, uses it to bring him down. That's a 3-0. And I do believe we may well be on our way to a game 5, my friend.
Yeah, that's for sure. We do see the Drow Ranger pick up a Mjolnir now as well, and he's hit his 16. So now the damage that this Precision Aura gives all over the place. If you click on these birds, they have none of their damage from the familiar damage, but they have plus 63 anyway. So they're going to be just crushing these towers as well, especially because of the Desolator effect from Sing Sing. So we're going to see what they decide to go for. If they want to just go for this Ranger Axe, oh yeah, they're just going to go for both of them. So they're just feeling very confident right now, and they should. They really should feel with this.
Look at that tower just completely melt. We're going to see Mirana get the kill on the Drow Ranger. Didn't even see that happen because we were watching here, but now they're going to try to re-engage off of this. There's going to be the shotgun on the AUI, able to survive it because he is so tanky. PPD going to be caught by the Rubik, and Demon taking the flight, looking for a target, has the Blink and the Force Staff ready. Looks like they're ready to just cut their losses, or more importantly, their gains, as they did manage to bring down the other half of the racks out of mid, and in bottom, they got a free tier 3.
Yeah, a little bit crazy by Envy. He just wanted to go for that Ranger Axe right away instead of just slow pushing with his team. So a little bit strange play coming ahead, but they can take these weird risks right now because AUI actually finishes up a Sheepstick now, but they can't take these risks because of the immense gold lead that they do have, which is ahead of 15,000 gold and well over 10,000 experience lead as well.
EG has now reached a moment of desperation, smoking out of their own well and moving across the map trying to find something. However, no one's going to be home. Cloud9, the only person even remotely close is Demon.
And not even is nobody home, their lanes are getting pushed in, so C9 definitely is expecting this to happen, for sure. And EG's trying to hope for this Roshan, but it is not even close from spawning. It's about a minute and a half still until it spawns.
Yep. And check out mid. Look at the creep wave coming through mid.
Yeah.
They're going to try to find someone here in mid lane on the Dire side. But again, pure desperation at this point. And just trying to get a catch and get an Aegis and hope they can extend this game somehow, buy time for Arteezy's Morphling to just become an absolute monster. And that's what they're going to have at this point, as 4 of the top 5 overall net worth now all belonging to Cloud9.
Yeah, 4 people in this game have over just about 13,000 net worth, so it's not something you really see too often, having this Visage so farmed, but the way that they did it was actually just really well done, using this Drow as semi-support kind of type thing after this laning phase, getting this Midas up and just using his levels to make all of the other people on this team do so much damage, since they do have this 5 ranged hero lineup.
And EG still trying to find something, anything, some glimmer of hope.
Yeah, Arteezy's just trying to split push, trying to get these lanes out a bit, but it's just so difficult for them because they can't really, they have to be so careful to getting picked off, and I think Demon is going to be finishing up his Refresher Orb as well very soon, and he is level 16 now too. And Pilot Die still has this Slither and Crush, but it's going to wear off very soon. So right now they're just going to go for this bottom. Maybe they're going to go for this Replicate. No, they didn't end up going for it. The Sheepstick was used to break the illusion, so they knew that it was the Replicate.
just continuing to keep all of these lanes pushed. Another big wave coming down middle, pulling back, and yeah, all they're doing is shoving the waves, and now they're going to find the big guy is home. And this is going to be a super dead Roshan. My God, how quick he's going to drop. This is a 32-minute Roshan, and just look, I mean, he's melting like an ancient, man.
Yep, basically. I mean, with the amount of minus armor that they have, and of course the 5 heroes with the Drow aura, they can just kill it so quickly, and it's 32 minutes, and that is a cheese as well. So that is the 3rd Roshan, of course.
And now EG. Oh, wow, there's that refreshers coming out on Demon. Loves to have 2 lassos in every fight. No replicate is up on Arteezy, and oh, he might get caught here. Demon's going to realize it too. He hasn't moved yet. Now he's going to replicate, but he's going to be able to stand to grab him, and now Sing Sing right on top of him. The Scythe-ifice to follow, and Arteezy down for 85 seconds. Does have a buyback if absolutely necessary, but I mean, at this point, delaying the inevitable is kind of just where you are with things.
Yeah, for sure. And we'd have a mech coming out for Pilot Die as well, so they're gonna go for ending this game right now. And the Rubik actually stole replicate, so very nice for him. He has a nice TA leading the way.
Yep. And yeah, just keeping an eye on things. You know how it works. Talking about Sing Sing, he did go ahead and get the Yasha up too. So he actually, if they wanted to wait, he could have a Manta style up like right now.
Yeah, at this point, I don't really see how EG can come back in this game.
Yeah.
Fear just still doesn't have this BKB. The Midas pickup, I think, was still pretty decent, but just how slow it took the puck to find his Blink Dagger was just really unfortunate. I'm not too sure if this Potom and the Bane combo ended up working out too well for them, and they really got punished because of this. And yeah, it's really not a good sign when you have your support Potom leading your puck off lane in net worth.
Generally not. And it's not a very good sign whenever there are 4 heroes, count them 4, on the other side, leading your 1 position, Slardar, in net worth.
Yeah, and C9 doing something very smart. They pressured in this top lane. They know mid lane, of course, is going to get pressured since they got this pretty early Rax, and they're just going to go bottom, take this Rax, and just secure the win very, very calmly and very, very easily.
Yep. Moving towards the naked Rax, they forced the buyback out of Arteezy, and then switched because if you can avoid pushing into a tower, no reason not to. And here comes Eternal Envy, banging away on this Rax. And EG actually a bit out of position. They have to pop the glyph just so they can try to get back in position to make something happen. And oh wow, they actually sold out on the Bad Rider there. And now Sing Sing going to re-engage and manage to blow up the puck. Behind that, the fight, there's going to be the lasso coming out on Arteezy. He's going to be Fiend's Grip, but it won't matter. The damage is just too overwhelming. PPD could have had a full duration grip, but everyone on the side of Cloud9 right now is just too tanky, and there it is. Arteezy calls the GG. We are going the distance here in Austin, my friend. Game 5 on the way as Cloud9 battles back and forces this to its ultimate conclusion.
And I don't want to say this, but I told you so. We are going the distance. We're getting the 5 games that I wanted.
Yes, you did. Yeah, honestly, both of these teams have looked so good at times. Coming into this, just privately as casters, I couldn't tell you which team was going to do it. I predicted a 3-1. I did.
Yeah, I mean, I would have agreed with you just because of the way that the momentum works for both of these teams, but the way that both these teams have just been playing in this overall tournament, how EG just really recovered today, I was looking forward to just seeing this game, these two teams just play as many games as possible and just seeing how well that they can draft, because a lot of these games really just end up ending at the draft screen, as we've seen. Even though we didn't think that the Drow Ranger was going to be picked again, it was picked, but it was used in a much better way, and I think I
made a lot more
really
sense.
Like this. Yeah, I really like this. I've said it before that I don't like the Drow unless you have this Visage, and they incorporated it very well, not just with the Visage, they also had 5 ranged heroes. So great picks overall by C9, and just great movement and great play, and Demon just played out of his mind that game.
Oh, he did. Well, everyone, when you look at the final tallies, I mean, poor Universe finished 0-5-4. The guy never had a chance to really be an influence on the map. 5-0 on AUI's Visage, and you've already talked extensively about that for good reason. It was an amazing combination there with the Drow Ranger, but I love the creative drafting we've seen so far throughout this entire series. We saw EG lead with it, and now we see incorporating the Drow Ranger in a much more effective fashion. And looking forward to seeing what's on the way here in Game 5. You're tuned in to the Monster Energy Invitational live from South by Southwest here at the Gaming Expo. I'm AC, that's Fogged. We'll be right back with EG taking on Cloud9 in Game 5 of our Best of 5 finals. Stick with us, we'll be right back.